It's time for the Clash of the Champions, but only one is going to walk away the undisputed heavyweight champion. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Mittons MMA, also with MMA Daily. I am your host, the one and only Royden Mitten, also known as Chael Jr. Today we're going to be talking about UFC 188. We start the pay-per-view off with a women's strawweight fight. Tecia Torres versus Angela Hill. Both these women come from The Ultimate Fighter. Tecia is 5-0 right now. All of her fights come by decision. Tecia is incredibly strong for her size. She's got very good dirty boxing against the cage, great knees, and she's got an excellent takedown defense. Her fight with Felicia Herring really showed how well she could stuff takedowns, swing her against the cage, and then work that dirty boxing, almost like a Randy Couture style. Angela is 2-0. She's got one knockout and one by decision. Now, she's a really solid boxer. She's got a former kickboxer, so that's great experience she's going to be bringing into the octagon. Her key to victory is to keep this fight on the feet. Use her boxing, keep it technical. Use her kickboxing to the best of her advantage. Tecia, on the other hand, needs to use good combinations to set this up, to get her against the cage, use that dirty boxing and knees, and just break her down, bring her to the ground, look for a submission or some ground and pound. Just make her feel all around uncomfortable. Angela's really tough, though, so I don't think she's going to be able to get finished, but I still think Ticia's going to take this fight. I think it's just going to be a long 15 minutes for Angela Hill, and we're going to be seeing Tecia take this fight, I think, 30-27 across the board. Now we're going to move on to the featherweights. Yair Rodriguez versus Charles Rosa. Yair is the winner of the Ultimate Fighter Latin America. He's 4-1. He's got 2 finishes in his career. He's very well rounded. He's got some great stand-up. He's got, mixes things up with spinning back kicks and flying knees. So, really solid jabs. And he's really great off his back, too. Like, he doesn't just lay there. He looks for submissions. He's got a great triangle. Charles, he's 9-1. He's got 6 submissions and 3 KOs. He's only a brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but he pulls off great submissions like Darce chokes, Peruvian neckties, anaconda chokes. Just stuff we don't see as often as we should. So we could see a solid fight. Either we're going to see a really good ground fight or we're going to see a really good stand-up fight. But I feel like Charles is going to take this fight. He's got a little bit more experience, and he's got a better finishing rate. And I think he's going to pull off a submission, maybe a second-round guillotine. But all in all, I think this should be a really excellent fight. Now we're going to move on to the middleweights. Calvin Gastelum versus Nate the Great Marquardt. Calvin's coming off of his first loss to Tyrone Woodley, which he had a horrible weight cut for. He just did not seem like himself. Now he's going back up to 185. This might be a better idea for him. Now he's not going to have to worry so much about cutting weight. He's going to be able to bulk up a little bit, which he's probably going to need for a guy like Nate Marquardt, who's incredibly strong. Nate's coming off of a bit of a rough patch right now. He was known as one of the top middleweights in the world for a while, and now he's 1-4 in his last 5 fights. He's potentially going to be fighting for his job right now. Nate has to use those big power shots to hurt Calvin and get him to the ground and just ground and pound him. He needs to win this fight in devastating fashion to show that he is still a potential contender and is at least still in the top 10 in the middleweight division. Calvin, on the other hand, he's got to avoid those power shots. He's got to use head movement, use good combinations, which he does have. He has very sharp combos. Calvin's also got solid wrestling, which he also backs up with great submissions. So if he gets this fight to the ground, he's got to look for some ground and pound and maybe a rear naked choke, which he's really great at doing. The question for this fight, though, is will the experience and determination and fighting for your job, is that going to win this guy the fight? Or is the young, hungry, ambitious, fighting in his home crowd going to win this fight? I think I'm going to have to go with Calvin on this one. I think Nate's kind of past his time. Calvin's going to be too fast, too strong. I think he's going to use really great combinations and frustrate him. I think he's going to take this fight by decision. It'll be maybe a 29-28, but I got Calvin winning this fight. The co-main event of the evening, the former Strikeforce lightweight champion Gilbert Melendez versus the former Bellator lightweight champion Eddie Alvarez. This is a fantastic fight. Both these guys love to put on a great show. Gilbert is an extremely fast fighter. He's got excellent cardio. When he went 15 minutes with that brawl with Diego Sanchez, he just kept going. He really showed his big heart and his great cardio. He's got 11 KOs in his career. But right now, though, he's coming off of a loss to Showtime Pettis. Eddie Alvarez has an excellent finishing rate. He's got 14 KOs and 7 submissions. Eddie's got excellent power in his hands, and he's got really great ground and pound. To win this fight, Eddie's got to use that great combinations and set up some big power shots, not just looking for that one-punch KO. If he does, Gilbert's going to pick him apart. He's going to use his hands to outpoint him. Now, when Gilbert throws his punches, though, he keeps himself very wide open. And this is Eddie's key to work some good combinations, get those shots in, or even look for a takedown to get some ground and pound going. Eddie's got to win this fight, though. He's coming off of a loss to Cowboy Cerrone in his UFC debut. He's got to win this fight, and this is a great way to get some momentum going. I have a feeling, though, Gilbert's going to take this fight, probably by a split decision. I feel like it's going to be a close fight, but the wrestling of Gilbert Melendez might help. He's going to push him against the cage, get some dirty boxing in. Alvarez is going to get frustrated and look for some big power shots. I don't think it's going to do enough, though, to score all 3 judges, but it might get him 1. But I think it's going to be the boxing and the combinations of Gilbert and his speed that's going to take this fight. And now we're going to have an undisputed heavyweight champion. Cain hasn't been in the cage of October of 19th of 2013 with his big win over Junior Dos Santos. Verdum, on the other hand, he's coming off of a huge win against Mark Hunt with a second-round knockout. Cain probably has the best wrestling in the heavyweight division, and arguably the best wrestling in the UFC. He's so fantastic at mixing up his wrestling and then using his incredible stand-up with just such crisp, clean combinations. Will Cain want to take this fight to the ground, though? Verdum, on the other hand, has the best submission game in the heavyweight division, and arguably the best in the UFC, winning multiple tournaments of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu contests. He's got 9 submissions in his 19 wins, with 6 KOs. Very good finishing rate. Cain has to keep this fight on the feet, in my opinion. He's got to use his combinations and try to break Verdum down and look for the knockout, using his great combinations and his great cardio to be able to push that pace for 5 rounds. Verdum, on the other hand, while Cain was sitting on the sidelines, Verdum's stand-up has improved over and over again. You know, ever since his fight with Junior Dos Santos, he's gotten so much better. He's now able to stand and trade with guys like Travis Brown, Roy Nelson, and able to knock out Mark Hunt, who's arguably one of the best boxers in the UFC. Now, will this long layoff affect Cain Velasquez? He's coming off of 2 injuries. He hasn't fought in almost 2 years. Is the ring rust going to affect him? And I think it will. I think Fabricio Verdum is going to take this fight. I think he's really going to shock the world like he did against Fedor Emelianenko. I think people are underestimating how good Fabricio Verdum really is. He's just continued to get better and better and better. And I think his stand-up has gotten so much better. He's really good at using his kicks and range and just excellent combos, spinning back fists, really mixing it up. And I think that's going to be too much for Cain Velasquez, and he's going to be really surprised when he steps in the cage with Verdum. And I think Verdum's going to take this fight in the first round. He's going to knock him down, and he's going to get a submission in. And we're going to see Verdum walk away with the title. Now, I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong about all these picks. But we're not going to find out until Saturday night. So until UFC 189, good night, and thank you for listening.